Well, despite a quiet minicamp for some rookies, Jeremiah Trotter Jr. and Jalyx seem to be getting a handle on the Eagles' defense pretty quickly. Plus, here by Kenny Pickett's quarterback 2 spot might not be as safe as we think. And just how different did Jalen Hurts say Kellen Moore's new offense is from Brian Johnson's disaster last year? I'm Thomas Mott. This is a Thomas Mott Show. Okay, before we get into the actual details of how day 3 of minicamp went for the Burst today, I just want to make sure there aren't any of my subscribers who have a couple of $1 million lying around because Bloomberg announced that the Eagles owner Jeffrey Lurie is exploring selling a minority ownership stake in the Birds. Now, this doesn't include any sort of path to a controlling interest stake, so you're not actually going to have any sort of real power, but still, who wouldn't want to be co-owner of the Philadelphia Eagles? Now, there hasn't been an official price set, at least what Jeffrey Lurie is looking for, so hold your checkbooks for just a little bit longer, but the Eagles are valued at an estimated $7.5 billion, so it's probably going to be a pretty penny. Just figured I'd share with you in case any of you guys want to add co-owner of the Philadelphia Eagles to your resume. I think that'd look pretty good. Now, back to the actual on-the-field activities. Today was a pretty good day for the injured Eagles who are trying to work their way back onto the actual field. For instance, Brandon Lee Gowton caught Sidney Brown on the far side of the field doing some running work as he continues to get back from the ACL injury suffered against the Arizona Cardinals. Brown's injury has him kind of forgotten this season. We've hardly talked about him in terms of a very packed secondary. The arrival of C.J. Gardner-Johnson kind of stole his starting spot and all the thunder out from under him, but he's been looking good for someone who's definitely working through the process of a very difficult recovery from something like an ACL, and he expects to be back closer to training camp. I don't think he's going to be ready to go 100% day 1, but I'm pumped to see what Sidney Brown can do in this defense and obviously add depth at a position of big-time need. Now, speaking of safeties, we got the word on James Bradberry's injury, which, according to Jeff McClain, is an abductor injury, the one he suffered on day 1 of minicamp. And, of course, as we expected, with that abductor injury, he was at practice on the sideline, but was not working out with a helmet or anything like that. We also got our first real look at rookie Ainias today, who actually ran through some individual drills with the wide receivers for the first time. You see that there on your screen right now. He also worked out as punt returner, which is definitely a way for him to make early contributions as a rookie. It seems like Smith is almost all the way back from that injury they found during the NFL Combine. No word yet on if he's 100%, 50%, 80%, but he was out there running individual drills and did do some 7-on-7s, which means the wide receiver 3 battle come training camp is going to be back to being wide open. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this is the first official look at Jalyx running through some drills. I haven't found any other videos of him, whether at OTAs or minicamp, but then again, rookie pass rushers, they're not supposed to really flash, especially without the pads, so no real reason to highlight him. Still, though, he looks quick, he looks fast, and everything I've read about the guy overall says he's learning as much as humanly possible. Now, another player's name that we haven't heard much about has been Jeremiah Trotter, who, yes, has been running with the third-team linebackers, as you would expect. They're not going to vault him up anytime soon, especially during minicamp. But the Birds linebacker coach Bobby King, he seemed very pleased with the rookie's progress so far.
He's been really, really good. You know, he came in as the rookie minicamp, and obviously the system brand new to him, and came in and did a nice job. And he's, like I said before, he's one of those players that doesn't make the same mistake twice, and he's just all ears right now, learning every day.
Likewise, Zach Bond also echoed the praise of Trotter, and he even mentioned that he's making calls on the field kind of like a veteran would this early.
Yeah, he's a smart dude. Like, he really knows ball. He really dove into his playbook. And when he's out there, he's confident, and he's making communication and talking like he's been in this system for a while now. So he's doing a really, really good job.
Also, despite the source, Tanner McKee had a nice day at practice during 7-on-7s in the red zone. He hit Ainias Smith, again, in his first 7-on-7 drill for a touchdown, but Smith apparently was out of bounds. And while I don't think that McKee can challenge Kenny Pickett for quarterback 2, he isn't going anywhere. Like, he's all but locked to make the team and at least be on the practice squad and that emergency quarterback 3. Now, speaking of Kenny Pickett, he had a pretty good day, completing a back shoulder touchdown pass to Joseph Ngata, followed by a 30-yard passing touchdown down the left sideline to Johnny Wilson, who had Isaiah Rodgers in good coverage on a double move, where the ball went just over his outstretched arms to the bigger target. Pickett's had a very up-and-down minicamp so far. Remember the drama that very first OTA practice where he was outperforming Jalen Hurts? We all seem to forget, though, that every single one of these quarterbacks is having to learn a brand new offensive system, and it's going to take a little bit. For instance, today, all reporters suggested that the defense, again, won the day. They've won every single minicamp practice so far, as pointed out by Jeff Kerr, which caused the offense to have to run gassers after practice, led by Nick Sirianni. And we've talked a lot about how many interceptions Jalen Hurts has thrown so far during these open practices. He didn't throw one today, by the way, just for those wondering. But you need to hear what Jalen Hurts had to say when he was asked about the differences between Kellen Moore's offense today and what Brian Johnson's offense was like during last year during his post-practice press conference.
Yeah, I think this whole entire offseason, it's been about learning, um, learning, and taking in the new knowledge, new perspective, and the minds that we have in the room. And I think throughout the whole entire thing, that's kind of been the emphasis. You know, you get to a point where you kind of feel, hey, I'm gonna feel comfortable with this. I'm gonna like this, but that time comes where you can rep it later on. But you know, right now it's been a lot of new inventory in. Majority of it, you know, probably 95% of it being new. And so it's just been that process, and it's been a fun process because you get to see what works for other people. And the number of coaches that I've had since I've been here, I've been able to take in a lot of new knowledge and new understanding. And so I think the goal coming in was to, you know, learn Kellen's offense and master it. And I think that's been a process, and I think by the end of it, I want it to be mine, and have it in my own way. I think that's kind of a credit to, again, the lack of continuity with that, and it being a thing where I've kind of had to take all these new things and new voices and still go out there and be successful and efficient. And so I think that's exactly what's going to happen again.
95% different. Like, that's like being told to learn a brand new language that's 95% different than English right now. Like, that's very, very tough in a very short amount of time. Remember, they've only had 3 weeks of practices and maybe about a month of being in the building in terms of learning the offense, time actually studying and in the books. We should expect the defense to be winning each day now, and especially during the beginning parts of training camp. Like, we should expect the quarterbacks and the rest of the offense to be a little bit slower. Nick Sirianni, who also spoke to the media today, he echoed the idea there's a lot of new stuff for Jalen in the offense to learn.
Yeah, I think he's done a really nice job adapting to, some of the different things that we're doing. And, some of the different, there's different concepts. There's similar concepts. But in those similar concepts, sometimes we're asking them to read it differently than we have in the past, and there's similar things with the way the routes are being run, and there's some differences of how we've run it in the past as well. So there's just all that goes with how, the play is supposed to be designed. And so I think he's done a really nice job of handling the things that are similar. I think he's done a very nice job handling things that are similar, but his job's changed a little bit. And done a really nice job of, really grinding away to be a master at the offense and all the things that come with it.
Gotta remember, though, this is what we all wanted, right? Like, we all were tired of the vanilla Brian Johnson offense from last year. Now we have a very serious offensive coordinator who, yes, is going to make things harder for Jalen Hurts. He's got to learn and run basically a pro-style offense that will come with some serious growing pains. And, of course, you expect struggles during the offseason, during OTAs, during minicamp, and into training camp. But I expect QB1 to figure these things out and be better in the long run for it. Now, as mentioned, the defense did win the day, and yes, Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean were a big part of that. You heard a lot about them so far this week, but both rookies did meet with the media today. Thank goodness, this was really great, and I can't help but think the Eagles maybe got the two most quiet, no-nonsense guys in the entire NFL draft.
Pretty quiet and reserved guy. I feel like Q's even more quiet than I am, but I think we're both just trying to learn as much as possible from the guys that have been here and played in this league, for longer than we've been here. So just trying to learn as much as possible, take it all in, and really have fun with it, connect with the guys. Our new teammates, our first few weeks here, so connect with them, get to know them more off the field too. So just really trying to learn each and every day we're in here.
I mean, listen to Cooper DeJean, for instance, tell the media that, hey, he's going to play any position that they want him to, inside, outside, doesn't matter. He just wants to do whatever it takes to be great.
Yeah, it's been good. I'm just trying to, take in and learn as much as possible right now, whether it's inside or outside. I don't have a problem with having a lot on my plate. I'm here to play football and learn football, so the more positions I can learn, I feel like it helps me, out on the field when I'm at one of those positions, just knowing what those other positions are doing and where I can get my help.
And speaking of great, Cooper DeJean had a nice punch out of Shaquan Davis's hands to force a PBU during practice, and of course continued to make plays all day long. Quinyon moved around with the first and second teamers today as well, and then told the media his side of the story about his first matchup and subsequent trash talk with A.J. Brown. Listen to this.
I mean, it was actually a good route, you know. I finally got the rep against AJ, so I want to talk a little trash to him, but it was a good route.
Is that something that you'll do on occasion, talk a little trash?
Yeah, I talk a little trash, you know, just push my teammates, you know, compete, you know, when I get that chance and that opportunity. So just going out and just grinding out good days.
I think Andrew DeCecco tweeted it best just a couple of minutes ago, saying, quote, "The cornerback competition is going to be a fascinating one come training camp. Notably, Keely Ringo, Isaiah Rodgers, Quinyon Mitchell, and Cooper DeJean have all stood out at various times. The competitiveness should make for some fun one-on-ones this summer." Now, of course, it doesn't matter who wins the starting cornerback job, just as long as the best person wins, and obviously that's going to go ahead and happen, middle, end of training camp. The fact you have this much competition, though, is making the Eagles secondary that much more exciting and gives you tons of depth and assurance if an injury were to happen, which in the past has almost always crippled the Eagles' defense. Now, we also got to hear from Mekhi Becton at the podium today, who seems really excited to not only be an Eagle, get the fresh start under Jeff Stoutland, but also explain that his size and strength gives him a pretty interesting advantage in terms of playing guard versus tackle.
What's the harder transition, going from left tackle to right tackle or left tackle to left guard?
I got Lane Johnson and Jordan Mailata in the same room, so those are two guys I look up to. You know, they're great players. I got Coach Stout, you know, then we got a great team here with Jalen Hurts, Saquon, AJ. Like, just seeing all the firepower that we have in this team, like, it just made sense.
Becton seems like the perfect backup option to assure the fact the Eagles don't have one offensive line injury that derails their entire year. Like, remember back in 2017, Jason Peters goes down and we go, oh no, they're screwed. And then Vaitai came in, he played well enough, and they were able to win a Super Bowl. And I've said it before, depth is critical for teams that think that they're Super Bowl ready. If you have one injury at a serious position, you could be done for other football teams. Howie's works very hard to give you very solid starters, but great depth options as well, and that's a key fact going into 2024. Still though, minicamp, it is officially over, and players will now get to head home, enjoy a short 6-week break before reporting back to the NovaCare Complex at the end of July. And of course, despite the ups and downs of everyone this past week, I think Isaiah Rodgers said it best on Twitter today when he said, quote, "Nobody cares what you did at OTA/minicamp. This time is for learning and building. What really matters is what you do after that very first coin toss all the way until the confetti drops. See y'all in July." Now, the Eagles are going to take a break, but we're not going to take a break here. We're going to break down a ton more stuff happening in the next couple of days and weeks. Keep an eye on all the moves Philadelphia could make as they prepare for training camp and everything in between. Plenty more things are happening. I appreciate you guys riding with us the entire offseason. I'm Thomas Mott. This has been The Thomas Mott Show.